the transmission company of Nigeria, TCN, has expressed concern over the increasing attacks on its power assets, urging host communities to assist in safeguarding transmission towers. TCN's general manager for the Port Harcourt region, that's Mr. Akpa Anyebunam, highlighted that vandalism of power infrastructure has disrupted power supply and hindered Nigeria's socio-economic progress. Between January 9 and 14 of this year, over 18 towers were vandalized across Rivers, Abia, and Kano states. In 2024 alone, the government spent heavily to repair about 128 vandalized towers. Anyebunam emphasized that these acts caused prolonged power outages, disrupting both economic and domestic activities. He appealed to the youths in Rivers State, specifically in Ahoada East and West, to protect power assets and prevent sabotage. A recent incident where 20 towers were destroyed in Bayelsa led to a 4-month blackout. Anyebunam stressed that the protection of these facilities must be a collective effort, and youth should take an active role in preventing further attacks. Well, for more analysis on measures needed to protect power assets and community support against vandalization of electricity facilities, Arise News analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us now. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale. Many thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure being here today.
Now, beyond the simple act of criminality or the basis of criminality, are there any specific economic vulnerabilities in these communities that host power infrastructure that you think might be contributing to the vandalism that we're witnessing in these states?
Well, so many. And they need not be economic alone. They could be for various reasons. The thing is that you need to look at the supply chain of the transmission infrastructure. In some places, for example, in the north, the saboteurs are terrorists, jihadists, insurgents. That is economic sabotage. In some places, you see, you have insider collaboration. It's only those who have knowledge of electricity, instruments, and facilities, and their usage and values that will go and pilfer them. So we should look at those who are in that industry, that is internally. And at the same time, you look at those who are competing for power supply in Nigeria, electricity generators, sellers. It's not in their interest that you have constant light. And you see, the third part of it is the policing. It may seem far-fetched, but the quest and the call for state police is overdue for implementation. Because it's the people who live in the state, in the communities, who knows, it's the people who know what their valuable assets are. It's those who sell spare parts for these instruments who know how valuable they are. And it is those who are involved, maybe in the transmission companies too, who know the locations of all these items and their values. So that should be internal assessment in terms of collaboration, in terms of seeking out collaboration and deterring those who are involved and punishing them. And at the same time, getting local security outfits to monitor the security of these items. Let's leave it at that for now.
So TCN is calling for community engagement. How do you think this community engagement and ownership can help prevent vandalism of power infrastructure? And also, what role do you think the youth can play in this effort?
A lot. Community development is very important. Although the man who spoke there went out of his way not to say that he's accusing the youths of the people doing it. He went out of his way. It's not in the interest of the youth to do it, unless they are being sent by some people, maybe contractors or some people. But you see, if the transmission companies want to secure the environment, they should involve the youth. They'll pay them anyway. They'll pay them. They should involve them. But on a larger scale, is a collaborative effort on the part of all elements of society, in each state, in each local government. You see the number of towers that have been destroyed. See, in other developed countries, for example, China, which is the developed, they have what they call high voltage transmission lines, which move, they say, at the speed of the bullet trains in Japan to deliver, and they secure them. They secure them. Although in their own case, so one party state sabotage their equipment like that, they shoot you down. It's as simple as that. So we too should find a way to deter these thieves, find a way to deter them, punish them, disgrace them, detain them, take them to court and all that. Yes, that's a deterrent.
Also, Mr. Sobowale, when you mentioned the state police factor, it just helps us see the wider cost of situations like this, when the vandalism and all that. But I'm wondering if you think community ownership models, the practicality of them might differ from current stakeholder engagement approaches when it comes to addressing this.
Well, the community cannot afford the equipment involved. It's only the state and the state infrastructure apparatus that can put them on the ground. We are talking of vigilance in securing them. Mm-hmm. And the causes of the disruption and vandalism vary geographically and geopolitically. In the Northeast, the saboteurs are trying to make sure that government does not work. And that where government does not work, they move in. They move in. Like Governor Zulum was in the news recently. In an area, they had 300 communities before. They have only one. And it's calling on the federal government to defend that single one. If you have 30 communities and they are reduced to one local government, and the sabotage comes from making sure that those communities are unlivable, so that people flee, then these people take over, and at times they go into mining, but they become the local government. They are confronting the state and getting away with it. I come back to my definition again. A government is any government that can use legitimate force to maintain its authority and power in a particular area. If you are losing power politically and you are losing power economically, you know you are in dire straits. Yeah. You are headed for the wolves. I hope we survive it.
Indeed, and of course, with the incessant national grid collapses that we've been experiencing, we don't want that. Yeah. But how feasible do you think it is to establish these community surveillance teams to monitor power infrastructure, and what benefits or challenges do you think might arise from the approach?
That's what we have been discussing. We have been discussing the consequences of not having the apparatus in place. So what we do is what we have been discussing too now. The communities know their area. That's why the man was trying to call on youths. The suspicion is that unemployed youths are trying to prefer things. But then unemployed youths know they will get electrocuted if they go near electricity. It's only those who have knowledge of what to withdraw or what to sell on the market who will do that. So they should monitor those who are in competing industries, you get me, with the national grid infrastructure equipment. They should monitor them, monitor their stores, monitor their collection, their delivery, because they are part of the supply chain and they have education about what is going, information on what is going on. Although I commend the federal government, they are trying, they put a lot of money in the budget to educate people and articulate the dangers of this thing and the economic consequences. They are spending money on that. I hope it is judiciously spent. But at the end of it all, is the security or securing this equipment that really matters. That is what really matters.
Mr. Sobowale, when you've mentioned this twice now, and I think it's very crucial. Shining a light brighter on the supply chain.
Yes.
Like you said, if the youths are aware, like if they could just walk up to these equipment, they might be electrocuted. Yeah. So it makes sense to look closer at, like you said, the generator sellers, those who know the values of these items and the lot. So if we...
Inside information.
Exactly. So Mr. Sobowale, if your advice is adhered to, which I hope it will be, and it's found that there is a whole collusion within, and it goes to the top. Maybe I'm just out here imagining the worst case scenario. How is that going to be adequately addressed? Seeing all those that might be profiting from the way things are with this vandalism situation.
If the fish is rotten from the top, if they trace it to the top, they should find the muzzle to deal with those who are involved. You get me? Nobody is above the law. And that's why I'm telling you about government now. Government is not a Christmas party. You get me? Or a church service. Government must use power to secure its territory and prevent economic sabotage. That's the duty of government. Yes.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
But obviously, the whole essence of all of this is to protect our power infrastructure. In the end, do you see all of these actions? Because, of course, you've proposed a lot of solutions on this table. Do you see TCN taking decisive action? Now they've called on the communities to protect our power infrastructure. So many other things that we need to do. Do you see them making the move? Because we have to go beyond talks and start making moves.
It is in the interest of TCN to take action. That's what it is set up to do. And that's why it is crying out. They have immense budget. They have immense budget. And you see, we cannot make economic progress without electricity. It's as simple as that. You have the electricity generating companies, you have the transmission companies, you have the distribution companies. It's a link. If you won't have light, if there is, the discourse won't give you light, if there's no gas for the generating companies, and the transmission company cannot generate transport anything if they don't have gas from there. So it's a link. And if people sabotage our what do you mean? Like they do in the rivers area, our pipelines and things like that. It's a supply chain. It's a supply chain, and each part, the generating side has its own supply chain. The transmission has its own. So it's work in progress. Like the said Tinubu said that in Rome. They have always said that here. So the survival of TCN depends on it. So I don't think they want to commit economic suicide. And they know they have a responsibility to the nation, and they have to make sure their reputation is not destroyed totally. Absolutely. So I'm sure they will up to the task.
Yes. I hope so. Thank you so much for your insightful analysis as always. We appreciate your time, Mr. Dayo Sobowale. Many thanks for joining us. Thank you.